a very warm welcome to you from wherever you're watching us. This is Hope Channel Kenya, Light in the Family, and you're watching Positive Living. My name is Kandi Odhiambo, and today we're talking about drug, or as some people like to call it, substance abuse. And to help us dissect this, as usual, is the very lovely Brenda Kinyangi.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us.
You're most welcome.
Brenda is from Adventist Center for Care and Support here at Nairobi Central SDA Church. And if you have any question, whatever question you have, you can come to the Adventist Center for Care and Support, or you could just send us a text via the line running down your screen, or you can send us your comment or your question on Facebook, Hope Channel Kenya, on Twitter at Hope_Kenya, and we'll get back to you. So, on drug abuse, let's get the basics. What is drug abuse? Because I'm sure it's something very common, but most people do not know.
Very true. Basically, you can just start by defining what drug is. It's just a chemical that alters the normal, it alters the reaction in the immune system, that is the body. And when you look at drug abuse itself, when you look at abuse itself, let me just do drug, the way I've done. Then abuse, it means you are misusing. You are misusing the drug itself that helps you to gain the normal reaction of the body in your immune system.
Okay.
Yeah.
I hope you got that. So why would someone abuse drugs?
It basically depends on the kind of drugs that you are using, because there are drugs that help us when we are sick. We get better. And especially when we focus on HIV and AIDS, we have drugs that usually help us to have a normal and healthy life, which are the ARV itself, that is antiretroviral drugs, which are supposed to be taken for life. But if you don't take them for life, it means you're abusing
the drug
itself. Yeah, let's say you're having a headache. Anytime you're having a headache, you keep on taking Panadol. Even a slight headache or any slight pain that you go through, you just go directly to the shop or any other place that you might be able to get, or direct through the counter into a pharmacy or a chemist. Then you buy for yourself paracetamols or painkillers, and then you're trying to curb the pain that is there. It reaches a point whereby when you go, now you are actually in a serious condition. Right now maybe you're admitted, and you're supposed just to be given Panadol to work. It doesn't work. What does it mean? It means that all along you've been abusing the drug, because it's so much in your system until your system now doesn't know the difference. Sees it like any other thing in the system.
Are these drugs the same as, the normal drugs? When someone talks of drug abuse, what comes to mind is bang. What comes to mind is cocaine. We don't think about the paracetamol or the Panadol.
Very true.
At what point does someone start to abuse perhaps cocaine or marijuana?
Sad. It actually depends. First of all, I can say there's a cause that triggers somebody to do all this. Basically, when you look at some of the factors, we might get it maybe through their upbringing. Maybe the child or the person has not gotten the attention that he needs, the support that he needs. Might be love, might be just a father figure, might just be a mother figure. And the person now decides, because I don't get attention from parents, or a caregiver who's supposed to give it to me, then they end up resulting into the drugs. Even it depends on where the environmental factors, where you're growing up around. If you're growing up around where there's pubs, there are all these joints, there are vendors who deal with drugs, they are selling them.
Available.
Yes, or you are part of them who's selling these drugs. So at the end of the day, you're actually prone also to start using not just drugs but hard drugs, and they're harmful to your health. Yes.
What about if I want to feel good?
Like when you look at most of the youths, they're having in the community, they're having a challenge when it comes to bank, because it's easily accessible, and it was there. The other day, I thank the government because they actually banned out the hashish. That was
The shisha.
Shisha, yes.
Yeah.
And it was so used so much with the youths, and any other places that you go to, it was allowed, and it was just,
It was a menace.
it was a menace to be sincere.
True.
So it's very important for any person who's going through all this, really needs help as soon as yesterday.
Where do I get the help?
You can be able to come at our facility or at our center here, or you can be able to go to any government facility whereby we have psychosocial office, psychosocial support office that is going just to help this person. If you cannot be able to do that, you can get in touch with any counselor that is available. You can Google, because I know Google is there. People can be able to Google and just find out where can I be able to get this support. And if any person is just in a diaspora place who doesn't have all these necessities
True.
with them, they can just be able to visit any government facility and just be able to inquire from there. Then they're going to get all the support that they require.
And at what point does someone who is abusing drugs know that I need help?
It depends also with the frequency on how they use. You know, somebody comes from being good to becoming the worst person, and they were the best person in life. Maybe it depends on how they used to keep themselves hygienically. They used to be very clean and well organized people or person, and then just from nowhere, somebody just neglects themselves, doesn't even take a bath. You don't even have oral hygiene. You don't even wash your face in the morning. You see, like, it's okay so long as I get up, I'm rushing. First of all, the first thing I'm going to do is to remove hangover by taking something. So it calls like a wake-up call. You really need to get support. It means somebody right now, at that particular time, is an addict. Somebody who sells each and everything that they have in their house to buy these drugs needs help. Somebody who sells all their clothes
Just for that drug.
they need help. Somebody who steals so that they may be able to gain money and go and buy the drugs, it means they are in the addict stage, so they really need to get help.
And at most times you find that unfortunately for these people, they do not realize it themselves, but a friend can. And I can also say that some of these things you've just talked about are telltale signs. For myself as a friend, if I see Brenda, she's not bathing, if I see you're withdrawn perhaps,
Very true.
you're not your normal self.
Very, very true.
Am I permitted to take action for you?
It's also good just because everything you need to get a consent from somebody. Because right now you cannot bring somebody who has gotten used to alcoholism and they're addict. They need to, it's called an opener in the morning, unlock. They usually say unlock. So they have to get like one, because maybe yesterday night they've been drinking, and they just slept as they were drinking. So when they wake up, they have like a headache. They're saying that I'm not feeling well, so they need to get one lock. They need to have a bottle or something just to do that. When you see somebody undergoing through all this, it's also very just important to get their consent. Because each and every client that usually comes to a facility, or the ones that I have attended to, it's good to initiate it, but it's a very sensitive way to go about it, because you might be able to do it and the person just withdraws, and you never see them again, especially if it's a parent. They're trying to bring their teenager back. So I would really advise just to talk about it first, generally, so that the person may be able just to open up and say, by the way, I have a problem and I need help. That is the best way.
But what do you do when this person perhaps after an elongated time of abusing the drugs is not even in their own right mind, and you want to help this person, and you cannot get the consent from, you know, an impaired, mentally impaired, what do you do?
So long as you're somebody who's very close related to the person, I think now you need to take the initiative measures. We have rehabilitation centers all around. Depending on the proximity of somebody, they can be able to get in touch and be able to get the best support for them, just to accept, I am an addict and I need to come out of this.
Oh, wow. Tell us something on commonly abused drugs.
The one that I've mentioned was bang, which is used like it's really used. I don't know how to bring it, and it's yes, and it's really used. And when I usually talk about it, it's very sad when you just look at what Bangi has done to some of our brothers and sisters. Some of them, they have dropped out of school. Some of them, they have run away from schools, and it alters their normal sound mind, so that they decide, now let me just lean on the Bangi itself. We also have the marijuana that is there, whereby it's almost close to bang, and it's also used by some of us. And I'll just like to encourage somebody who's going through all this not to initiate, because it's like they usually initiate. I'm your friend and I'm using it. I try to initiate it to you by telling you kandi ebonja kidogo. Then you start kuonja. The next minute
you're hooked.
You're hooked even more than I, who have been using it for so many years. Another one that we have is the alcohol itself, which is called the pombe. We have different kind of pombe. They are there in the market. We have the changa that is brewed within the communities around. We also have the busa that is there. We also have the ones that usually come out on our screens, people who like watching the local channels and news. So it's very important just to be aware that all of these, they are part of drugs, because they have some caffeine in it, and too much caffeine alters. Yeah, it's just like Panadol. Panadol has what? Has still the caffeine. So the paracetamol, it has the caffeine.
Helps you, yes, but if it's too much, it starts to alter your normal function.
Very, very true.
Well, that was very, very insightful, but we're going on a short break. And dear viewers, when you come back, we get to the most important part, how drug abuse is related to HIV and AIDS. And you'll find that drug abuse causes HIV and AIDS. HIV and AIDS will also sometimes cause you to indulge in drugs. So let's go on a break. Like I said, we'll be back shortly. Hi and welcome back to Positive Living. If you're just joining us, we are on drug abuse, or like I mentioned earlier, substance abuse, and we've talked about what drug abuse is, some commonly abused drugs like the alcohol, the marijuana, the cocaine, but now we want to touch on how HIV and AIDS relates to drug or substance abuse. So Brenda, let's just stick to that. What is the relationship between HIV and AIDS and drug abuse?
When you look at drug abuse, what we actually said, we say that it's a chemical reaction that alters the normal functioning of the body. When you look at HIV itself, it's an infection, and it's not just any other infection, but a viral infection. When you look at being a viral infection and the drugs that are there, and they're supposed to be taken for life to help you just to boost your immune system to live a normal and healthy life, the drugs themselves, they are called the antiretroviral therapy drugs. And when you look at these drugs, they should not be associated with any other thing that also has the same strength as it. When you look at drug abuse, we look at alcohol. I'm looking at a situation whereby a client who's struggling to fight and to deal with alcohol, being HIV positive. And we are there each and every minute that they visit the clinic just to tell them, by the way, ndugu, unafaa uache kutumia pombe. Huwezi kutumia pombe na madawa. Because what usually happens with the substance abuse itself, it alters and doesn't make you to be in your sound mind. Meaning that if you tell this person you're supposed to be taking your drugs at 9 a.m. every morning, if they've had a hangover, they won't remember.
They won't perhaps even wake up at that time.
Very true. So it brings a lot of poor adherence to the art itself. That is the antiretroviral therapy drugs. When you look also at alcohol, somebody who's going through alcohol, most of the time we try to work with this client, because we know that if it's somebody who has been taking it for 15 years, we need to have a work with him in terms of reduction, so that this person can be able now to calm down and know that I must leave this and I must take because they are good for me. We usually use a method called cage, which means cutting each and every time that they're having their alcohol. Because somebody who's an addict, we cannot just advise you immediately,
stop,
acha, usikunywe tena. So you get immediately, if you do that to this person, they can die. Because already the system itself has already gotten used to this drug that has been able to alter some of the things that are going through in the immune system. So usually,
where if you miss it, you feel like something is missing. Something
very,
is not right.
very, very true. So we try to come to a consensus together with the person. If the person has been taking 10 bottles in a day, we say, put like a homework, we say, do 9 the following day.
Okay.
The other day, do 8. Another day comes, do 7.
The cutting.
And the cutting. So until it reaches 1 and they see themselves, they can be able to do it. They can be able to do without the alcohol itself. We say to the person, kudos, now you're good to go. Do what? Take the ARV themselves, take a lot of water, eat a balanced diet, exercise, so that they may be able to continue and the immune level to be able to just increase from the normal level.
And if we look at alcohol, let's just go, use the example of alcohol. Perhaps I've had like 10 bottles or something, and like we said, it alters.
Very true.
And I am not capable of thinking of, judgment. I'm not capable of making right judgment. So perhaps I can engage in risky behaviors that can cause HIV. Tell us about that.
By the way, when you look at alcohol itself or the drugs themselves, that you are the one who initiated to yourself. You've not been sick. You've just said, I want to feel high, and I want to feel high right now. And I want to go and slay, the way some people say. So you end up slaying the wrong way and you harm yourself. So when you look at this, basically we usually say this person needs to try and work with somebody. That's why I said we have to work together. The person we give a homework, I tell you, Candy, go, now try to do 9. You go do 9. I tell you, which environment are you living in? Tell me, by the way, do you know even downstairs, where I'm living in a flat, just downstairs, there's a pub. Then we discuss with you. How do you feel moving from that place? We discuss with you because you want to move out of this life of addictiveness and of drinking. We come to an understanding with you and the person agrees. That's another initiation. Another thing we also try to work with the person is this, the kind of friends that the person hangs with. So it's very important also to look and just sit down and select the kind of friends that you are close to, so that to be able to be drawn again back to the habits, because it's a habit. A habit is something that you can be able to let go, so long as you discipline yourself and you continue on with life. When you look at also the ones who are addicted now in the hard drugs, which are cocaine, which are heroin, which are around us, and our brothers and sisters are doing it. It's very sad
Yeah.
but it's something that is happening here in our country, Kenya, and also in Nairobi. I would also just like to encourage them that they should not lose hope. Don't feel that you are no one, or you don't have any value in this life. Even if you have gone to that extent, they also need to be aware that when you look at HIV and the needles that they are using,
Yeah.
they're also putting themselves at a high risk.
The injectables.
Yes, of getting infected. When you look at somebody who just drinks and drinks so many bottles of beer, at the end of the day they lose their sound mind, then they actually put themselves in other risky behaviors,
Yeah.
especially when you look at unprotected sex or any other thing that is there.
Or having sex with strangers.
And having sex with strangers actually, whom they don't know their HIV status, and they put also their health at risk.
Yeah. We've talked so much on the soft drugs. Now to the hard drugs. What are the symptoms that this person is hooked?
They go through.
Yeah.
When somebody has already gotten addicted to taking the hard drugs, sometimes they go crazy.
Crazy.
In a sense, I don't want to put like the crazy, the insane part, but it happens. It happens.
Your mental capability just crashes.
Yes.
Kabisa.
Yes.
And you just go mad.
You cannot reason normally. You cannot reason normally. That's why you get what usually happens in the injectable drug users, the IDUs, usually happens like this. If I don't have any money to buy the drugs,
Yeah.
I've sold all my things, I've sold my shoes,
Clothes.
I don't have anything now to sell, I wait for you because you have money. You buy. So after buying, you inject yourself. Then after injecting yourself, I come. I ask you, give me a small blood from you, because already the blood has some drug, and then I inject myself.
Not the drug itself, but your blood.
Yes, through the syringe.
Inject myself with your blood.
Yes, it's happening.
Wow.
So I'd also like to encourage these brothers who are doing this, just to know that they are at a high risk of getting infected. But I thank God for the facilities and the health facilities around within our country. So many drug users have been empowered on this. Now some of them, they don't usually share syringes. They have been able now to use alone
So if
their
you,
own
if you
syringe.
have to inject yourself, you're providing them with their own syringes.
They can be able to get them at a very fair price.
Okay.
Yes, so
But-
that they don't share.
But most times they do not even have the money.
Hmm?
And you find the only way to get some money perhaps is to have sex for that little money to get that
I'm getting you.
to get that one injection, and that is also a very risky thing.
Yeah, there's some donors who are actually trying to move along with this, just to provide for them injectables. But what you're trying to cry out loud is, we are trying to tell them just to come out of it,
Yeah.
despite it has been, to some of them, they are struggling in it. We are just trying to encourage them to try and cut and be able to focus on a better life, and also on their better lives before that they had, and come out from it, because majority of them, they are no longer there. That's the saddest bit. They are no longer there. So the ones who are still there,
Yeah.
let's try to work with them as a society and not neglect them. It might be your brother, it might be your uncle, it might be your parents. Let's not neglect them. Let's bring them closer to us. Me, I have this motto that so long as you share love, everything works. Everything
So long
works,
as you
yeah.
share love, everything works.
Everything works.
So for someone who has, abused drugs for a long time, it can cause death.
Very true.
What other risk factors do these people are looking to?
When they're going, if somebody who is an addict and has not used drugs, they go through some symptoms. We have this person might just start shaking, they get chills, they get headaches, they cannot walk, there's fatigue. You can literally say that this person is very sick.
But
Very,
it's the
very,
drugs.
it's the drug.
The drugs
When you see this
not
person-
being present in that person's body or being too much.
not being present also can be able to bring that reaction.
Okay.
And also when it's too much can also bring that reaction, and if they don't get help immediately, they might end up dying. So it's very sad. I wanted to bring a scenario whereby you get this person whereby before drugs you see them, you might say this person is so hopeless, they are so weak.
That is before the drugs.
Before the drugs, you see them, they are down shaking, miserable, but just give them, you come and look at the person after an hour, after they've had their jab, you'll be so surprised. You see a
new person.
a different person. And it's all about being addicted to all these drugs. It starts small, it starts small. It might be a sedative drug. You start, you see that it helps me. Another time you feel good, you don't think about your problems. You add kidogo, you take 2 pills, maybe you take 3. Another time you get another, you decide, let me take this one. Before you realize, it's too late, you cannot go back.
And most times they do not even realize that they're slipping into, the addiction.
Very true.
What can you tell someone who perhaps is battling that?
I'd just like to give hope to them. I would like to tell them that they should not seclude themselves. They should not withdraw themselves from the society or from their family members or from somebody that says that they're always there just to give harsh tones on them. They should not take it like negatively, but they should just sit down and consider it on a positive level. Know that this person wants the best for them. And if this person for sure doesn't have any person to go to, they can be able to come to here at Adventist Center for a facility. Then we might be able to just work with a person. We usually have a support group that we might be able to work with this person, and then they may be able to realize now what is their way forward in life, because it's very important. And we love them. I love all my clients. They need to come.
I mean, look at your face. You look so caring.
They need to come.
So if you're facing anything and you feel like you cannot approach your mom or your closest friends, Adventist Center for Care and Support will take care of you. So be sure to visit them if you're facing something, or if you know someone who's going through that. Invite them to the center. They will get the help that they need. You see, drug abuse does not only affect you in the sense that you get mentally impaired and all that. There are other risk factors like HIV contraction, like we mentioned. So dear viewers, thank you so much for your time, and I do hope that today you've pocketed something and that Brenda has driven some points home. Do stay tuned for our next episode. Contact us via our social media pages, that is on Hope Channel Kenya Facebook, on Twitter at Hope_Kenya. Text us, tell us what you're thinking, we want to know whatever you have to say. It's welcome. I've been your host, Candy Odhiambo. I'll see you next time. Have a lovely time.